you sell in the home country with just minor adaptations. So which organizational structure is best suited for low pressure to reduce cost, low pressure for local adaptation, and a product that's pretty much the same? That would be just an international division. So we haven't even entered the full-on global organizational structures. Why that's the case? Because, well, if your product, the way you sell, it's just about replicating what you're doing. You're taking the same product overseas, same approach, same promotional message, maybe just a bit of adaptation in terms of language or technical features due to legal restrictions, then you're basically just going to set up a division that does more of the same, but at international level. The way we deal with customers is the same, and so on and so forth. So that makes sense. And then the staffing policy is ethnocentric. So you bring in the same product, same culture, same approach. Why are you going to bother look for a manager from that country that understands local conditions, because it's not what you're doing. So I think when it comes to the link, you need to study by understanding, and then you can rebuild the link every time you forget about what you crammed, because you understand it. Right, multi-domestic, again, you will, let's say I ask you about it, you will explain it in full, then you'll identify the different pressures, low pressure to reduce cost, high pressure for local adaptation, and the organizational structure with a product that has to change for each country, with a lot of pressure to tailor to different tastes locally. It's obviously going to be a kind of a geographic approach. You want to focus your business and split it up according to geographical presence, because that's like one of the main foci in your company. That's how your product works. It changes all the time. You have to deal with customers very closely and personally, locally, so you need a geographic presence. And then the staffing policy would be polycentric. You want managers that really understand what are the local needs and so on. So, yeah, kind of makes sense. Then you've got the transnational strategy, same, more of the same. You again identify the pressures, maybe the type of products. You have a product that's standardized because you're trying to save on costs. And so you try to minimize the features that it has in terms of how much they change across countries, and have a product that's the same. So a Nike t-shirt is going to be the same across all countries. Sorry, no. The global is later. We're speaking about transnational. So let me repeat. So transnational, as you know, it's got high pressure to reduce cost and also to adapt locally. So with a double pressure, just remember, double pressure, double layer, double structure. So you're going to have a matrix structure, or the improvement of it, which is the matrix overlay. So you have this double focus, and it makes sense. So you'll probably have to report to a product manager and also a functional one that's more focused on costs, for example. And for this one, as your colleague was mentioning earlier, it's usually the case that we use a geocentric staffing policy. So with all this double pressure, double structure, double competence. So you need more competencies both on the cost side and local adaptation, and you want the best person for the job. And the regional one, you know the pressures, so high on the cost side and medium high on the adaptation side. Definitely similar tastes across regions, similar product across regions, very within the region, different across regions. So you again have a kind of a geographic focus, but it will be a more regional split of the divisions. You don't need a subsidiary for each country. Perhaps you have one big subsidiary for South America and so on. And with Regio and comes with a regional strategy comes a geographic focus. It's about the region, and comes a geocentric staffing policy. Even the names call on each other. All right, and finally the global. You know that. Sorry, this. I don't know why you guys want to take pictures. Right, so the global strategy, I left it for last. Maybe that's the most difficult to integrate. So study it on its own with its own focus. So you know there's high pressure to reduce costs, low pressure to adapt locally, and the product is standardized. In terms of the organizational structure, you can have different options that help you to reduce costs. So one option is a product departmentalization of the business. So you have product divisions, and each product division focuses on the standardization of each product to make it most efficient and standardized across countries. If your business is about big processes like aircraft manufacturing, then it's probably going to be also it can be a functional departmentalization, because by focusing on different functions, you make sure you streamline them and you save not so much on production costs with regards to the cost of goods sold, but on the personnel costs, so that the production run is very, very efficient. Sometimes it's geographic, but really sometimes. And again, it's geocentric, most likely geocentric, as we said, because you operate anywhere in the world with functional divisions or product divisions, and then once again, you want the best person for the job to rationalize activities. It's just the way it is. All right, that's it. So is there anything you want to know about the exam that I can tell you? Or any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
If we start will the exam need to start working on March?
Sorry, if we?
Is there a possibility of practicing when the exam starts? Is there, if we do this, is there a possibility of online exam, or will it be postponed?
There is no, look, I don't know, because I don't make these decisions, and they haven't told us if then.